Sharon, I'm home. Sharon? Honey? Late night shopping.
So, I'm all alone. What to do? It's too late to start anything. A good time to catch up on some reading. Hey, what's this? My old picture album. I haven't seen that in a long time. I almost forgot I had it.
My baby picture.
Smart kid I must have been. 1 hour old and I already knew how to yawn. Let's see. What's the first thing I can remember? Probably the time I took my bunk bed ladder, put it up against the clothesline pole, climbed it, and thought I was the tallest guy in the neighborhood. And then there was a time in nursery school. Yeah, we were supposed to lie on mats for rest period, and I chose to push myself around with my feet on the floor. I guess I was a bit of a terror.
Ah, yes. There is a time when patience is stronger than force.
My, oh my, oh my. How time flies.
It's like it was yesterday. Somehow, in those days, I couldn't imagine myself past 20, although I always wanted to be growed up. All the exciting things I wanted to do, like drive a motorcycle or be a fireman. And now here I am, wishing it would take another 8 years to get to my next birthday. Wondering why people my own age look so much older than me. I can remember when I was a kid, thinking of the year 2000. I used to add it up on the back of a notebook to see how old I'd be when it came. It seemed impossibly far away. I used to read the newspapers a lot. Sometimes I wondered if the world would last till 2000. I remember being scared about things like the wars, the crimes on the streets, the arms race and pollution. Even being 20 years old seemed like it was far away.
Now, here I am, way past that.
There's a story that Jesus told about a man who decided to build, but you know he ran out of gold and the project was finally killed. He rushed into the thing too soon, did not think about counting the cost, so the project was left in ruin, everything that he had was lost. Why don't we wait just a little and pray? Stop and look, Jesus showed us the way. Why don't we wait just a little and pray? Stop and look, Jesus showed us the way. Are you gonna take that first drink? Are you gonna keep popping those pills? Might be better to stop and think, all that danger for just a few thrills. Are you gonna break up that fight? Are you gonna make peace with a friend? Maybe now you just feel uptight, you'll be glad that you helped in the end. Why don't you wait just a little and pray? Stop and look, Jesus showed you the way. Why don't you wait just a little and pray? Stop and look, Jesus showed you the way. There are times when it's hard to know. Take some searching to do the right thing. Asking others which way to go helps to see what the future may bring. There are choices each day we live. Let's all learn from mistakes that we make. Just remember that God forgives. He wants you to decide for His sake. Why don't we wait just a little and pray? Stop and look, Jesus showed us the way. Why don't we wait just a little and pray? Stop and look, Jesus showed us the way. He showed us the way.
Growing up, into a career, married, some great opportunities before me. I'm alive. I still may have 2/3 of my life ahead of me. And that means 1/3 is history. That's a sobering thought. Time. It can never be called back once it's gone. Every day is a gift. Yes, a gift. And a responsibility, too. I wish I was still as carefree as that. Not a worry in the world. Always a hand there to feed me. I guess the equivalent of that for me now would be to win a lottery and spend all my time basking in the sun on some tropical island, never having to correct students' essays, reading novels instead. And the hair I used to have in those days. Like the barber says, hair today, gone tomorrow. Looks like I laughed a lot then too. I guess I was quite carefree. Except when my first goldfish died. It helped prepare me for harder times. I had no way of knowing then that I'd almost lose a leg in a motorcycle accident, or that Ken would die of leukemia. And how could I have known then how big the nuclear thing would become? Good thing I didn't know. Unpleasant things you'd choose to avoid if you only could. The realities of life and death are hard. It would be so much nicer to stay carefree and naive. But the experiences and growing awareness do something for you. Facing them help you mature. I think you become a more understanding person by going through them. And they tend to push you toward God.
It takes a lot of time to grow a tree. Everybody knows that. But what we may not think about is that it also takes a long time for a tree to go away once it has died. Between the time it dies in the forest and the time it turns to soil, many things happen to it. A biologist explains.
When a tree dies in the forest, it opens up a space in which light penetrates to the forest floor. This permits a space for a new plant to grow, and it also provides the light that that plant requires in which to grow. Many kinds of trees growing in the forest require more light than is available in the shade of the forest. These trees can only take hold and begin to grow when large, older trees die, allowing light to penetrate to the forest floor. The tree that has just died also provides food and a home for many different organisms in the forest, including many kinds of insects and fungi. As time goes on, a succession of different species of insects and fungi slowly break down the tree, such that humus is formed and eventually the complete mineralization of the former tree. This results in the release to the forest soil of many basic mineral elements necessary for plant growth, including carbon dioxide, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and many of the micronutrients which are essential for proper plant growth. Thus, after being locked up in the plant itself for many decades, these minerals are finally recycled into new growth in the forest. This new growth has the opportunity to grow abundantly and richly as a result of the introduction of these elements back to the forest soil. Often when trees are killed in the forest, whether they're killed by fire or insect or disease or the wind blowing them down, a logging company will come in and attempt to salvage log these trees. However, if the logging company does not come and reclaim these trees, salvage logging them, very soon after the tree has died, various wood-boring insects will attack these trees, lay their eggs in the bark, and the young larvae will bore into the wood. If the logging company comes along after this has occurred, the larvae will have already bored into the wood, and any lumber that is milled from those logs will contain the young larvae of these wood-boring insects. Frequently, lumber that is produced from salvaged logs is used to build homes, or it may even be used on the export market. This lumber, when it is used in home construction, will result in a homeowner a few months later having a problem with wood-boring insects emerging from the lumber in their home as a result of this previous infestation that I have mentioned. Also, if this lumber is intended for the export market and it is discovered that they are harboring these wood-boring insects, this lumber will no longer be suitable for export.
When you see a dead tree in the forest, you tend to think that nothing is happening to it, when in effect, the tree is full of activity. Time can be something like that. We may be deceived into thinking that because nothing is happening for a long period, that time is standing still. As with the tree, we may not realize how much is going on unknown to us.
I wonder what it's like to get old. I can imagine looking back to all the meaningful things I did in my earlier years. Or what about when God stops the clock and says time's up? If I have time to think at all that moment before death, I wonder what I'll think about. Good times with family and friends? Times when I've helped others? When others have helped me, bringing some light to dark places? I think my relationship with God would be most important to me. I'd like to know that during my life I'd grown to know Him better and followed His design for me. That I'd spent my life trying to walk with Him. And then I'd think of going to live with Him forever.
Child, it's a good thing you didn't know all the things you're going to have to face. But a day at a time with God's help.
It takes time to grow a plant, and there's a process. First, you prepare the soil. Then, you bury the seed. A shoot starts up, and it keeps on growing. If it gets water, it does okay, until the weeds come up too and begin to choke it. Pull the weeds out too soon, and you might kill the wrong plant by mistake. Let them grow together until you can tell them apart. If all goes well, eventually the plant produces a crop. What it bears depends on what kind of seed you planted. You reap what you sow, and if you plant your seed sparingly, you will reap sparingly. If you plant your seeds generously, you will reap generously. Even though it takes time to grow a plant, there is a deadline. The plant ripens. The time to reap comes. No more growing, just giving and reckoning, calculating the results. And so it is with a person. A lifetime spent in growing. As we sow, so we reap. The day of reckoning comes eventually. The results are calculated, and for people, they are kept for eternity.
Am I intruding here?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Your old picture album. You don't do that very often. I must be interrupting a very private moment.
A person needs a little time alone every once in a while to let his thoughts roam. Do you want some coffee?
Oh, I'd love some.
So, how was your day?
Oh, it was great. Fran called and asked me to go shopping with her. We did a lot of window shopping, but mostly we talked.
Yeah, I was reminiscing through all these pictures.
I haven't seen that for a long time either.
Fading away, fading away. We work every day to keep up with the trends, neglecting the needs of our children and friends. We're wasting our time by living this way. The things of this world are fading away. Fading away. Fading away. Nothing remains, it all disappears. The life in our veins will go with the years. From the depths of the earth comes a haunting reply. Just eat of the fruit and you will never die. Fading away. Fading away. Like leaves in the fall, like feathers in the wind. The days slip on by as soon as they begin. So call on our God while He may be known. The day is approaching when we'll reap what we've sown. Fading away. Fading away.
Rooftops. All kinds of them. With all kinds of people living under them. Some of them busy people, others with free time. Some of them lonely, needing encouragement, wanting help. Ever feel that way? Well, there's something that can give you the lift you need. The Third Story magazine. It contains some of the items from the shows, articles about people in real-life situations, songs, plus additional features. Something for the whole family. And it's free, with no further obligation. You can have it by writing to The Third Story, Box 2, Station F, Winnipeg, Manitoba. That's The Third Story, Box 2, Station F, Winnipeg, Manitoba. We'll be waiting to hear from you.